All right, so as all of you have already heard about, Daniel Defense was in front of a bunch of senators talking about their advertisements, which was completely ridiculous. Now, I could understand if Daniel Defense had like a figure in front of a school wearing a necklace made out of ears, and the advertisement said something along the lines of like, "Your classmates will never see it coming. Shop Daniel Defense." You know that's a different story. However, they're looking at these super vague ads and trying to say that there's something wrong with it. For example, this one right here.
Depicting anyone acting in self-defense against someone attacking them, correct?
That remains in the eye of the viewer, sir.
I don't see anyone attacking somebody here.
He's going on to try to put meaning to a super vague ad. I mean, how's Daniel Defense supposed to react to that? The only really good reaction to that would be like, so Senator, are you trying to say that the only legitimate use for a firearm is self-defense? You can't have it for, I don't know, like being on top of your hunting shack on the roof, which a lot of people do. You can't have it for what, being in a tactical training scenario where it's set up in a non-violent area where you have to shoot from a rooftop, which is a thing. So you can only use the firearm in self-defense. Like, that's the kind of stuff they were going. They were taking these extremes and oddballs and trying to make it as if the company had somehow messed up. Like, they were promoting their firearms for violence. And it's ridiculous. Another ad they had brought up was these four would look like military or police members holding a rifle. They were trying to say that that encourages, basically, kids to want to be like the military and police and commit violence. It was bad. It was really, really bad. But anyways, this senator had come up.
Impact on the human flesh of your product?
Yes, sir. Every firearm is capable of killing a human.
Okay, reclaiming my time.
Because I only sat through it for a little bit, so I just caught his argument. And that was the worst of all. So what he does is he brings all these abstract arguments that have absolutely nothing to do with the commercial. Like, his whole 5-minute thing has absolutely nothing to do with Daniel Defense advertisement. It was attack at a bunch of different things, trying to roll Daniel Defense into like...
We experienced on January 6, 2021, soft on criminal violence against our police officers. The email and text traffic of the extremist groups.
So his main argument is, where exactly does the Second Amendment grant people the right to basically bear arms? Like, specifically Daniel Defense arms.
That the Second Amendment does not give an unlimited right to carry whatever guns you want, wherever you want.
Now, I want to reply to this because you need to understand, and I was actually under the impression that, yes, the Constitution was written for the people. As I grew older, I learned that no, the Constitution is a restriction against the government. If the Constitution tells a citizen shall not be infringed, why would they do that? They'd be like, okay, so what are you trying to imply? That I'm not allowed to steal my neighbor's firearm? I mean, come on, that you could have just said, thou shalt not steal, like, in the 10 Commandments, but it says, shall not infringe. That means nothing telling it to a citizen. That makes no sense. What that does mean, or means something, is when you tell it to the government, shall not infringe. That's because the Constitution is not for the civilians. That's restrictions put on the government. I mean, you don't even have to go any farther past the oath of office to understand.
As stated in Article 2, Section I, Clause 8 of the U.S. Constitution, is as follows: I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States, and will to the best of my ability, preserve, protect and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Now we've established the Constitution has nothing to do with the citizens. That's just talking to the government. That's all it is talking to them, putting restrictions on them. Then the guy goes on to basically make a case on himself that he is not fit for government office.
Section 3 of the 14th Amendment says anyone is sworn an oath under the Constitution to defend it and support it, but betrays it by engaging in insurrection shall never be allowed to hold federal or state office again.
He references the 14th Amendment, Section 3. Now, I'm going to go over basically a layman's term of what that is, but then I'll have the text reader do the full term. So, what it says in Section 3 is no representative, senator, vice president, president, officer, anyone in the judicial system engage in a rebellion or insurrection against the Constitution.
An act of violent or open resistance to an established government or ruler.
So the Second Amendment says, right in the very end, shall not be infringed. We all know that. Nowhere in the Second Amendment is there any sort of power given to any government agent to restrict what firearms a person can or cannot have. And because he's openly not following this, some may even call that rebelling against the Second Amendment. Well, he kind of made the case for himself.
Section 3. No person shall be a senator or representative in Congress, or elector of president and vice president, or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States, or under any state, who, having previously taken an oath, as a member of Congress, or as an officer of the United States, or as a member of any state legislature, or as an executive or judicial officer of any state, to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. But Congress may, by a vote of 2/3 of each house, remove such disability.
So if you go against the Constitution, you're not allowed to be a representative of the people. So he literally makes a case on himself that he is an illegitimate representative of the people, which is crazy. Now, there's a whole bunch more that I would love to discuss about what he said that is completely just mind-blowingly wrong. However, he sets it up in a way to where you can't rebuttal against it without going down this dark path of basically insurrection. And that's how he protects himself. So he can't have his ridiculously wrong things rebutted. And if somebody wants to rebuttal it, they can have it, but I can't touch that one. Anyway, thank you for watching. Definitely check out the Daniel Defense commercial videos because it's pretty eye-opening. And it helps people understand, if you're in the gun community publicly, like say you're Ruger, Daniel Defense, SIG, you have a Firearms YouTube channel, anything public in the firearms community, expect at some point to be in front of a bunch of people trying to put interpretations of what you say in some sort of negative light.
The Constitution, specifically the Second Amendment, gives people a right to violently attack and overthrow the government of the United States if they think the government is being unfair or unjust.
Even though you were really clear when you said it, it'll be twisted in some sort of negative light, and you need to be ready for that. The Daniel Defense guy should have been much more prepared. He knew about this ahead of time. He should have looked at all of his ads and understood them fully. This way there was no surprises going on. I just think he needs to do better. Because he's going to wind up keep going in front of these Congresses and stuff like that. This is not going to stop. It's just going to be a repetitive thing. Because they're always looking for an avenue to try to slip in infringement. Anyway, thank you for watching. Like to help support the channel, got my Patreon right there. I also have affiliate links in the description down below. Just by clicking on those links, even if you don't purchase what that particular link is for, just clicking on it and doing the Amazon shopping you were already going to do anyway, that'll kick back for it because you came there off my channel.